What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and this one I'm going to talk about what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of tickers out there very briefly. I'm going to break down what the news is saying about the markets and why there's going to be a big move coming very soon as we have some big data dropping. I'm also going to talk about some other important factors affecting the markets so far. Before I do anything like this, though, before I talk about what's going on with the news affecting the markets, what data is dropping to cause a big move, and something you need to watch for, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks plus a $50 cash reward. The offer ends in just 2 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, so looking at Tesla, we're still kind of stuck in our range between this 235 area and this 240 zone. We spent a lot of that time yesterday between like 238 and 235, and we're still in that level right now, not really doing a whole lot. We are looking a little weaker in the pre-market, but the real question is, what will the data be that comes out and how will that end up affecting the market? So let's talk about the data. So today, okay, 30 minutes after the market opens at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, we have the JOLTS job openings coming out. This data is going to be very important for the Fed's policies and expect some volatility 30 minutes after the market opens. So that's going to cause a big move. I don't know if it's going to cause Tesla and the market to tank or like get a bounce. You have to be ready. And we have to watch for this very carefully. And then at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, or about an hour after the market opens, we have the Dallas Fed Services Revenue Index. This is not necessarily like that crazy, not as big as the jolts, but it is worth noting because it could cause some more volatility. So remember, the first 30 minutes and the first hour of market open is when we're going to see some volatility. The first 30 minutes is going to be the most important level, the most important time. And this is once again going to be at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. So be ready for this. We'll see how this affects Tesla. Now, in the pre-market, we're seeing some big movers right now. NIO is down 6% after its earnings came out. So we also saw Big Lots, which is surging 14%, which is not bad. Best Buy also was up 1.3% after some decent earnings, beating some expectations. So interesting stuff so far. When it comes to some news to know about the markets, Google plans to license more of its mapping data to basically other companies. There's also news right here about how Goldman is selling another business. That's going to be important for them and hopefully bringing in more profitability. OpenAI is open to building more businesses to develop AI in different ways. And then finally, August has been tough for the market so far. That is what tends to happen historically. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, Tesla's rolled out the FSD beta for the hardware 4.0 vehicles, which is good news because there were some concerns about this over the weekend. This is some good news for Tesla. They're basically working quite hard on making their ranges a lot more accurate, working on the FSD in general. And they're continuing to improve both the hardware 4.0 and the hardware 3. They're working on both of them. I think the hardware 3 has more software updates because that's once again what Tesla's been prioritizing for the software. But both of them are still getting these updates, which is still not too bad. And Elon Musk has been keeping the word so far that they are, continuing to improve. They're working on even the 4.0, and the new systems are going to be more reliable and more interesting, right? They're once again just developing the system a lot better. We're going to be watching to see what updates come out in the future. And I think both of the hardwares have good potential. I'm not going to like prioritize one over the other. I think hardware 3.0 has a bigger advantage over the 4.0 with all the new software updates, but they're both going to see updates going forward, and FSD should be compatible for both, according to Elon Musk. Anyways, when it comes to what Tesla's doing right now, we got this, breakout from the rising wedge. We were talking about this yesterday. Tesla got a back test right here of this 240 area. Now it's starting to reject a little bit, but it's still in its range. So you're going to be watching the 200 EMA at 235. This is going to be key for Tesla. That's going to be our key support for the day, this 235 area. If it breaks below this, we're going to see Tesla start sinking to about 234, if not the much lower 230s to 230. That's going to be support for Tesla if it does end up breaking below this 200 EMA. And if you get some kind of balance, you're going to be watching 238 as resistance. If that breaks, you're going to be watching it push to 240 plus. And then above that, we have 242, 244, and etc. 244 is very strong resistance, which is where Tesla got many rejections up here. So we're going to be watching all of this very carefully. Now, as for Tesla, we're starting to sink a little bit into pre-market. We're going to be waiting for the data to come out, so I don't want to like make any claims just yet. Wait for the data and see which way it dictates Tesla. If it pushes Tesla up, then don't forget to watch resistance. If it causes the rug pull, this is going to slow things down. From a technical standpoint, Tesla's looking a little bit weaker just for now, but it still is in its range, so we can't really say anything too horribly. So it's looking a little bit more bearish as of right now. We're going to be watching the ranges, see which way Tesla ends up breaking. If it does break below the 200 EMA, it's going to start sinking. If not, it's just going to be stuck for the time being. So we're just going to be watching this and see what happens with the data when it comes out and how this affects Tesla. For SPY, it's basically very similar. Basically on SPY, when you go to like the 4-hour time frame, let me just show you on here. On the 4-hour time frame on SPY, we are stuck between the 200 and the 20 EMA. The 20 to 50 EMA range right here is acting as support, these lines right here, and then resistance is the red line up top, the 200 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. If we reject off this and start coming down, you're going to be watching this 440.8 to 441 zone as support, and then for resistance, for the 443 is going to be resistance to about 444. Whichever way we break is going to determine the bigger move. If we break above the 444, so we can start pushing. There is this gap down here at 439, which makes me think that now we might see the market slow down if the data, causes some kind of rug pull. That's despite how the market is looking. So just be open-minded and watch the ranges and see which way we break depending on all this information that's coming out. And then if you look at, how SPY is looking, we still have this like wedge that is developed. If it breaks below this, we have 440 that breaks, then we have the gap down in the 439s. And then if we hold above this temporarily, we could see, a back test of these higher levels. But I'm just going to be patient and see if we break below it or not. Once the data comes out, then it's the best way to look at the market, to just be as unbiased as possible. One other big factor for the market, for Tesla, for all these different tickers, is Aapl in particular, because Aapl is still holding 180. Aapl has a rising wedge-like pattern. If it continues to break upwards, right? If it keeps pushing up, this could actually drag Tesla and the market upwards if we end up getting a nice bounce. But let's just say the data is like not good and the whole market starts tanking, just hypothetically, right? Well, we have a rising wedge on Aapl. I don't know if Aapl is going to end up breaking below it like this. If Aapl starts breaking down like this is going to be a bearish signal, and that's going to slow the market down if this were to hypothetically happen. So make sure you keep Aapl in the back of your mind, watch and see if it holds 180. But there's also the possibility of it holding this wedge for now, just continuing to break out like this, which could help the market hold up temporarily. So this is going to be the very key thing for the market, in my opinion. I think Apple is going to dictate this market, and we're going to be watching it and see how it reacts to all of the information that's coming out, to see if we see any more volatility or anything like that. Nvidia is basically just range bound, and most of the stocks out there are pretty much just range bound. Nvidia is not doing much. If you're really bullish, you want to see it break and hold 470. If you're bearish, we're going to be watching it break below 460 and retest 450. So there's a possible change in market structure right here. It's not really making new lows as of right now. It made this low and got a bounce to break the high, so it's trying to change directions. I want to see Nvidia retest like 460 and establish a higher low, because before, like I said, we made this low here, another low, another low here, another low. I don't want to make a new low on Nvidia. I want to make a higher low so it can start pushing higher. We're going to be watching to see if that happens to Nvidia, and we're going to see how it reacts to all of the job numbers that are about to come out. And it's the same thing with the triple Q. It's looking a little bit more bearish than SPY. However, we're going to be watching this 366 zone. It did get a break below this wedge technically, but we're going to be watching to see if it could hold this now. If it breaks below 365 or the 200 EMA, expect it to come all the way down to like the 362s. And if it manages to hold these levels, you're going to be watching 368 as resistance, followed by 370. So I'm kind of in the middle with the triple Q as of right now. It is looking a little weaker, but once again, just wait for the data to drop, and we'll see if we end up seeing the market sink more, or if the market ends up trying to bounce. We also have this imbalance down here at about like 363. So these are going to be some levels to watch for if we do get a break or not. We're looking a little weaker right now in the morning. We're getting this bearish cross after it's curling. Just to show you the QQQ, it's like right here on the 4-hour time frame. You could see that still not looking that great. The MACD is getting very, very tight, and it's very much just tight, but it's looking a little weaker as it's failing to break the 200. So we're going to be watching the 200 EMA as resistance, and then like the 50 and the 20 as our supports right over here. So that's going to be important for the QQQ. With that said, don't forget to watch Apple. It's going to dictate how this market moves. Get ready for all the big data dropping, and all of that's going to affect Tesla. And once again, Tesla has its range. It has been stuck between the 200 and the 50 EMAs for quite some time. We'll see which way it breaks. If it breaks above the 200, it can start pushing. If it breaks below the 50, if it breaks below like 235 and starts sinking, then I expect Tesla to start coming all the way back down to the low 230s, if not by 230. Okay, so watch these levels carefully. It's looking kind of weak in the pre-market, but all of this will and could change depending on the data coming out. So watch for that. Once again, the data comes out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time for the jolts. Wait for that and do what you have to do, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Market to the moon because the long term is still very bright. Tesla to the moon as well, and peace out.